In the heart of the Hawkeye State, short track racing has found a big-time stage. Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa opened in 2006 with a vision from NASCAR champion Rusty Wallace. A 7/8 mile D-shaped oval inspired by Richmond Raceway, built to deliver side-by-side racing in multiple grooves from top to bottom. Since being acquired by NASCAR, this facility has grown into one of the sport's premier short tracks, hosting everything from O'Reilly and Truck Series battles to IndyCar thrills. And in 2024, Iowa's long-awaited moment arrived as the NASCAR Cup Series finally took on this bull ring, packing the stands and proving this place belongs on the biggest stage. 30,000 strong in the grandstands, campers stacked along the backstretch, and a racing surface that chews up tires and rewards the bold. This is short track racing Iowa style. Tonight it's all about speed, strategy, and survival. It's the Blaise Alexander 100, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Iowa Speedway for the Golden Racing League Season 2, Race 9, the Blaise Alexander 100. Presented by the Blaise Alexander family of dealerships in Mansfield, Pennsylvania. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. We'll go down and see the fast times to this point. Fastest on the timing and scoring, to no one's surprise. The 25 of Dan Michelle, 22.721 seconds, the time for the number 25. Then it's Paul Dillon, Dan Jones, David Warmoth, Hunter Carlson, your top five. Then Cliff Mullins, Colton Briner, Austin Cansdale, Pat Warmoth, Dallas Sunderman, Nick Christ, 11th quick on the timing and scoring. Just about a minute and a half left in this session. Let's take a look here at the race details this evening. 100 laps the distance, a 28% load of fuel on board, 2 sets of tires available over the wall, no fast repairs, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Weather-wise, we're 74 degrees. A little humid at 70%, though clear skies, no breeze to speak of other than maybe 2 miles per hour. Track temp 82 degrees, again likely to fall as the sun continues to set here in this big old cornfield with a circle planted down in the middle of it. Tommy Jadakowski in the chat, as per the norm, waving the checkered flag. You got to get a green flag in there, Tommy. Do it twice. You do it when we go live with the green and then wrap it up at the end. Josh Tressler in there saying, hey, woo, let's go. Majority of the cars have decided to park it for the balance of this practice session. Again, just about 40 seconds before the black and red flag drops down. We'll get right into our qualifying session, which will be 5 minutes or 2 laps, whatever expires first. Ryder Racing, let's go racing, boys. Hoping for some good luck here tonight. Before we get into qualifying, we are wrapping up the season rapidly here. Iowa, of course, tonight, and then next week, the season finale at Darlington Raceway, July the 8th. I believe that'll run under the lights, I believe. I got to double-check that to be certain. Always like that night race at Darlington, but I don't know, maybe Chris Golden wants some hot sun on the Speedway, make these drivers really have to wrestle those race cars. So that'll do it here for the practice session. Qualifying immediately to follow. We'll see who takes to the Speedway first. Looks like Elijah Grant may roll off. Number 35 machine. Again, those of you super familiar with NASCAR, this place really just is a larger Richmond Raceway, just shy of 1 mile. Richmond a little closer to 3/4, 7/8 of a mile here in Iowa. This is the relatively new scan with iRacing, so it does have those new paved sections in the corners, nice and smooth, but those transitions are a little tricky. Lap 1 in the books for Grant, 23.103. He was at P1 for a moment, but The 60 of Paul Dillon, who was quick in practice, jumps up to the top spot of the 23.057. Chris Golden on the track, 23.365. Lap 2 for Dillon in the books, 22.857, the time of record. Fastest on the timing and scoring so far. On to Jason Woodham in the number 71. Ninth quick on his first lap. Woodham goes P3 with a 23.050. Chris Bingley out of Canada. Number 66 Ford Mustang. Michelle, fastest in practice, goes P2 on his first lap. We'll see if he can dig down deep and take the top spot away from Paul Dillon. Picks it up, but not enough. 22.894 for Dan Michelle. He'll sit on the outside front row for the time being. Just over 2 minutes left in the session as Chris Norris on the Speedway. Trying to improve his time to go from 17th upward. Where does he land? Picks up an extra spot. Goes to the 16th position with a 356. Now Stephen Luttrell on the clock. Luttrell a little loose off turn number 4, but he'll complete the lap. Let's see where the 36 lands. I'm looking for a good lap here. Let's see where he is. 7th quick, 23.070. Luttrell across the line, an improvement, puts him into the top 5, row number 2. 4th quick, 22.981 seconds for the 36. Just about a minute left here. DG Swiss now on the Speedway with the old Jeff Burton, number 31. Locks it up before getting to the line here. Found something he didn't like. He's going to have to hustle now. Only 40 seconds left in this session. He's probably only going to get 1 lap in, if that. I don't think he officially crossed the timing line. I think he's going to run out of time. "12 seconds, 11, 10 seconds left. Down the backstretch here, he's still a half lap away. He may not get a time in before the session expires. 2 seconds, 1 second. There it is. Off turn 4, and he loses it. So no time of record for DG Swiss. And there's a handful of drivers that either did not or did not attempt to take a time here in qualifying. 7 to be exact, but no matter. Let's take a look here at our starting grid for the Blaise Alexander 100, Season 2, race number 9 of the Golden Racing League. On the front row with the pole position, lap time 22.857 seconds. It's a 60 of Paul Dillon. Outside front row from the Golden Chef Speed Shop, missed it by 35 thousandths of a second. It'll be the 32 of Hunter Carlson. In the second row, Dan Michelle and Stephen Luttrell. Row 3, Wayne Cannon and Jason Woodham. In the fourth row, it's David Warmoth and Colton Briner. Row 5, Elijah Grant and Chris Golden. Starting 11th, it'll be Shane Morris. 12th goes to Chris Bingley. 13th starter, Yogi Schlier. 14th goes to Jay Berlin. 15th is Pat Warmoth. Nick Christ will start 16th. 17th starter is Chris Norris. Cliff Mullins, 18th. 19th belongs to Dallas Sunderman. 20th, DG Swiss, no time. Stephen Gill, 21st. Austin Cansdell, 22nd. 23rd, Gino Volanti. 24th, Dan Jones. And shotgun on the field in the 25th position will be the 05 of James Van Hoosen. It's your starting grid for the Blaise Alexander 100 here at Iowa Speedway, the penultimate race of this season. Field heading out onto the speedway for one of two pace laps. I think this will be the largest speedway, or largest racetrack that we run on that'll get two pace laps before we go green. It's 7/8 of a mile. Those that missed it, maybe you're a little bit late, that's okay. We won't hold it against you. The race details tonight, 100 laps the distance, 28% fuel on board. I'm going to go with that's going to be about 24 to 27 laps of fuel. 2 tire sets available over the wall, no fast repairs, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Weather-wise, as you see, we expected to see the track temperature drop. It's now down to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Air temperature 72. Humidity's up as well, 82%, though clear skies and almost no wind. Great night for racing here at Iowa Speedway. Barney the flagman with the green in hand as we're ready to get things underway. Dylan and Carlson lead them down to the line, and there it is. Green flag's in the air. We're racing in Iowa. Dylan with the lead down the back straightaway over Dan Michelle. Carlson now back to third. Luttrell fourth. Wayne Cannon the end of the top 5. Behind them, battle for position. It looks like Warmouth way up the racetrack for a moment. Pulls it down off the wall in front of Elijah Grant. And we've got trouble.
Do you need to take a drink or anything like that?
DG Swiss facing the wrong way here at start finish. He goes from a miscue in qualifying to a miscue at the end of lap 1 here at Iowa, so we get our first yellow of the night. So let's get a look, see what happened here to DG just a moment ago. Watch the 31 car. Just got loose on his own in the Fort Worth screen printing number 31. Gets crossed up, little contact with the car to the inside and shoots him up the racetrack into the fence. Doesn't look like it's too terribly damaged. Talked about it in the open, that fresh pavement in the corners. You get right sides just above it. You're going to lose a bit of grip, and it appears that he at least had half a tire's width above that new blacktop, so that very well may have contributed to that spin. Maybe cold tires, low air pressure. Again, only 1 lap in here. So we'll re-rack them here. We'll go double file. Should get the 1 to go signal. I'm thinking this time across the start-finish line. Maybe one more. So we didn't get the one to go. We're going to go this time by. One more to go to green and about 3/4 of a lap. Front row will be Paul Dillon and Dan Michel. Michel restarting on the outside. Row 2, Hunter Carlson, Stephen Luttrell. Then Wayne Cannon and David Warmoth in row number 3. Meanwhile, Tom Janikowski, turn 2 exit, turn 4 exit can be extremely tricky here, especially with this new scan. It's kind of what we've been talking about. You really got to use up all that grip on that darkened part of the racetrack. And you see there on exit, you get a third lane of it. It does get a little tricky, and that third lane carries on a little bit further as well. So definitely need to be strategic about how you exit the corners here at Iowa. All right, field doubled back up. Dillon and Michel on the front row. The pace truck will head to pit lane. We're ready to get back racing here at Iowa. Hopefully more than a lap or so, but there it is. Green back in the air. Dillon on the throttle, and he gets away. Meanwhile, Dan Michel in the second spot. He's got Steve Luttrell in that orange and white 36 up the back bumper. Meanwhile, Hunter Carlson now taking a peek to the inside on Luttrell. Side by side on exit. Luttrell carries the momentum down the straightaway. Meanwhile, battle for the race lead. Dan Michel making a move to the bottom on the 60. Dan Michel takes the race lead away from Paul Dillon. Luttrell still in a fight with Hunter Carlson for third. Meanwhile, it looks like Gino Volanti had a problem out on the Speedway. He's now in pit lane. May have a replay of it. Let's go back and take a look. Volanti in the 15 here by himself. Coming to pit lane. Oh, he's already got right front damage. You see it there. So something happening to the right front suspension on the 15. It's going to be a night ender for him. Paul Dillon trying to make it work on the outside now. Around Dan Michel has the momentum, has the grip, and that new pavement carries the speed down the straightaway and retakes the top spot. Meanwhile, Luttrell thought he was clear of Hunter Carlson. He might actually be, but now setting up here to pass the 25 on the outside. Out of turn 4, Luttrell has the run. Can he make it work down into turn number 1? I don't think so. Hunter Carlson now taking a look to the inside. They were almost 3 wide for a moment. Luttrell finally gets up into that second spot. Moves at 25 to third. Hunter Carlson unable to follow him on through. Meanwhile, the battle behind them, Wayne Cannon and the number 29 machine making his way forward. It's David Warmoth to the outside. Cannon may lose a spot here to the 8 machine. It's Colton Bryner now in the 14. Trying to follow the 8 on through. He's got Chris Golden in the 8 spot behind him. Also, the 75 of Shane Morris and Elijah Grant to round out the top 10. Meanwhile, back up front, the top 4 breaking away. Paul Dillon, quick on the short run. Lost a little momentum and some pace on the medium run, but as we get into now the long run, charges back to the race lead. Now Steve Luttrell going to have to fend off some pressure from Dan Michelle again. Michelle in the 25, the Mr. Pibb Chevrolet. And we got trouble. Here. Austin Cansdale may be involved in it. He was a little off the pace. Trying to track down somebody with damage. Little right front and right side on the 56. Let's try and take a look what happened just a moment ago. They were 3 wide. Cansdale low on the racetrack. I don't think that contributed to it, but the 56 gets into DG Swiss. And there you go. That's the story in pictures. It's a 56 turning into a ping pong ball between a few cars and then into the outside wall of turn 2. That'll open pit road. And we've got a lot of takers. 10th place machine of Elijah Grant opted to stay out, it appears, picking up potentially a lap lead. See if he comes down later. I think this is just before the end of that full fuel run. Speaking of fuel, fuel only for most of these drivers, down and away, 6 seconds or less for the majority of the field. So Elijah Grant, Jason Woodham stay out on the racetrack. They do not take this opportunity under the caution to come down and pit. It's definitely a gamble to do that at this stage. Got only a 28% load of fuel on board. Given the length of this particular race, I'm going to go that was probably a 24 to 27 lap tank. Granted, we've had some cautions to extend that a little bit. But now everybody behind these guys, no, they're not on fresher tires, but they don't need to worry about their fuel on this next run. So Grant and Woodham both are kind of gambling here, banking on a caution to come out relatively quickly so they can come down and take some fuel. And they may opt to take their tires if that opportunity presents itself, which they're probably going to need because with only those 2 cars staying out on the racetrack, they're going to give up a ton of track position to make those pit stops. Though the other side of the coin, everybody else that pit during this yellow may opt to come down and top off again anyway, given the short fuel window that we have. So front row for the restart, Elijah Grant, Jason Woodham. Row 2, Paul Dillon, Dan Michelle. Row 3, Hunter Carlson and Steve Luttrell. David Warmoth, Colton Bryner in the 4th row. Row 5, Chris Golden and Wayne Cannon. connection issue out of Hunter Carlson. We saw that the other night in the late model stock race. Green flag back in the air, though. Elijah Grant gets away. Paul Dillon quickly up into that second spot. See if he can run down the 35, or if Grant can take advantage of the clean air out in front. Oh, we got trouble. Big trouble here at start finish.
Tell me what you got.
Jay Berlin facing the wrong way. So there's the caution that Grant was looking for. Jason Woodham has fallen back all the way to the 10th position from that restart, but he'll probably take this opportunity to come down. Get some service on his machine. The Lucky Charms number 70, not so lucky right now. Let's go back and take a look what just happened. Berlin going to the outside of the 66. Didn't see him coming. Comes up the racetrack, and they both get into the fence. So pit road open, and surprised to see the 25, Dan Michel, come down and make a pit stop here. Fuel only again for him. It's going to get him off sequence with a lot of these drivers. So Elijah Grant came down, so did Yogi Schleer, Jerry Berlin, Patrick Warmoth, and DG Swiss. All those drivers really involved in that incident with the exception of Dan Michel. That'll move Dan back to the 17th spot for the restart. Paul Dillon will re-inherit the race lead. Hunter Carlson will jump back into that second position where he started. Again, you see him disappearing there, that connection issue plaguing the 32 quite heavily right now. He is nowhere to be seen. He's just kind of flashing back in. This could be a big-time problem for him. He disappears too long, the system could potentially boot him out, and that'd be a disaster for Carlson. He has been fast, and I think he's going to come down here and pit. Try to get things squared away, losing more connection. And he's gone again. He comes right back in. Something amiss here on the 32. It could be internet connection. It could be PC. Who knows at this point? Carlson's going to go to the back here. I think that's just a matter of safety. He may have opted to do that. I'm not sure if he was instructed to do that, but either way, not a bad call to move the 32 to the rear until it either clears itself or makes itself go away. So lights on the pace truck are out. We'll be racing the next time by. Cross start finish. It'll be lap 28 when we get back under the green flag. Your front row will be Paul Dillon, Steve Luttrell. Row 2, Colton Briner, David Warmoth. Warmoth in that Blue Angels number 8. A lot of drivers sporting patriotic schemes this week. Of course, with the 4th of July rolling in. Pace truck heads to pit road.
Green flag.
And we're back underway. Colton Briner putting a lot of pressure on Warmouth here for the third spot as they run through turns 3 and 4. I don't know what it is about neon paint schemes, but that day glow orange and highlighter yellow on that 14 is just scary in the rear view mirror, and Warmouth lets him go on through. So move Colton Briner up to the third spot. Battle further back here. Nick Chris to the outside of the 75 of Shane Morris. This is a battle for the 8th position. I hate to say it, Hunter Carlson ended up jumping to pit lane, and he sits stationary in his pit stall, showing to the 23rd spot. And now is officially out of this race. That is just too bad. And keep watching the 14 of Briner. He just ran the fastest lap of the race, 22.82 seconds out of the 14, and he's coming on strong. Wayne Cannon just inches off the left rear of David Warmouth. Still the battle for the top 3 positions. Paul Dillon with the lead. Briner hunting P2 and Stephen Luttrell. Dillon looking pretty comfortable here out in front, albeit only 0.2 of a second ahead of this battle for second spot. As Colton Briner scrapes the wall out of turn number 4. I was just going to say, if those two for that second place battle kind of stopped fighting it out, I think one or both of them have the pace right now to run down Dillon and maybe take that race lead away. Last time by, Luttrell was faster by almost a full 1/10 of a second. Colton Briner almost evenly matched there, even though he got the wall on the exit of that lap. So this shows the pace that the 14 has as they're running into some lap traffic now. Berlin, the bottom of the racetrack, lets the leaders go around the outside. Cannon making moves around Warmouth, finally gets clear of the 8, so move the 29 machine up into the 4th position. He'll go to the bottom side on Berlin. Take a moment and go on board with Steve Luttrell. We noticed earlier on that first run of the race, Paul Dillon was really quick on the short run, not so quick in the mid portion of that run, but certainly got faster towards the end. And I think that's starting to present itself now as Luttrell back 2.5 from the race lead. Last lap, Luttrell was about a 0.5 slower. This time it's the opposite, though. He's almost a 1/10 quicker than Paul Dillon. So these guys keep taking it back and forth. Meanwhile, they've both started to run away from Colton Briner. I just got to wonder if Briner sustained some damage in that contact he had out of turn number 4, maybe about 5 or 10 laps ago. It didn't look too significant, but he's fallen well off the pace of those top 2. He's running a 23.74 the last time by. Runs a 68 this time, but still 0.3 off the pace of these top 2. So Briner might be struggling with a little bit of right front damage. on that Toyota Camry. Meanwhile, Wayne Cannon's starting to run him down. He's running a 10th plus faster than the 14, so just a matter of time before he's knocking on the back door of Briner. Oh, Chris Golden up the racetrack, saves it, but more contact. The 75 at Norris will get into him, and Golden may go around here. We stay green, though. You got Norris and Golden facing the wrong way down the backstretch. Golden still stationary here off of turn number 2, and he's just going to toe to pit lane. No caution was thrown. Again, automatically thrown cautions through iRacing, so he didn't get the benefit of a live admin there, but let's go back quickly and take a look exactly what happened here to Chris Golden. So Mullins was sneaking around on the bottom. Golden saw him coming, so he washed up the racetrack. Then Dan Michel makes a little bit of contact, checks up Nick Chris. Morris gets into the 19, then he clips the 58, and then up the racetrack he goes, gets the left rear of the 19, and sends Chris Golden spinning down the racetrack. And some pretty significant contact to the front end of that machine down to the inside pit wall. Not sure if Chris couldn't get it refired. It didn't look a detrimental hit. But something certainly wrong on the 19 that ended his day early. Just a few laps shy of halfway here at Iowa Speedway. Paul Dillon still leading Steve Luttrell. I'd say Dillon's been the dominant car here tonight. And here he comes to pit lane. So green flag stops here at Iowa Speedway. It's time. Race leader on pit road as Steve Luttrell will inherit the top spot. Now we've got almost a full second of fall off here at Iowa Speedway, so I would venture a guess you might see Steve Luttrell come down and pit this next time by, because he's going to give up a lot of ground just in the fresh tire difference between Dillon and himself. And sure enough, here comes Steve Luttrell into the pit box. I think Dillon might be out of fuel here. Car wasn't running when he pulled into the box. Fires it back up, so yeah, he ran that thing dry right down to the last drop. So now Steve Luttrell will come down and pit. See how close he is. So that's the benefit there for Luttrell to come down one lap later. Was able to save a little bit more fuel over the course of that run, and this later pit stop buys him an extra lap of gas as well. So now Dan Michel, new race leader. His last stop was 25 laps ago. We'll see when he makes his run down into the pit lane. There we stand right now. Luttrell went 29 laps. Dillon went 28, so that fuel window a little larger than we thought. It's Michel, Swiss, and Schlier. They're 25, 24, and 25 as far as their laps on their tank of fuel, so they could go further, but here comes Michel. He's going to pit now. A little shorter than he needed to. Kind of a blind spot for the pit stall for the 25. He's going to put 4 tires and fill it up with fuel and head back out as DG Swiss, as the race leader, comes down into his pit stall. Yogi Schlier does the same. So that's going to cycle Stephen Luttrell back to the race lead. Cliff Mullins now will jump up into the second spot. So I don't know if it was a pit call there for Mullins. It may have been, as Mullins' 9.73 second stop. But then again, Luttrell, same boat, 9.23 seconds. So that's twice now that Luttrell's made a pit stop, has not taken tires, Again, only 2 sets to work with, and we are just past halfway here at Iowa. So Luttrell making sure he's got a set for a late caution if necessary. It's kind of an aggressive strategy considering the pace he's had here tonight, but it might be the winning strategy as Paul Dillon now running behind him in a bit of traffic in the 4th position. The difference, though, Dillon put on 4 tires, so he's going to be out of the box lightning fast in comparison to Steve Luttrell. Best thing Steve can do here is just run the best laps he can. In the meantime, try to build as much of a gap as he can so that the tires on the 60 start to equalize to his by the time he gets there. Luttrell enjoying an 8-second advantage over the 60 of Dillon right now, but that's going to get chewed up in a hurry. So 23:48 the last lap for Dillon, a 0.3 of a second slower lap than Steven Luttrell, so that's exactly what the 36 needs to be doing right now, but he's starting to work into some lap traffic. 56 laps about to be complete here at Iowa Speedway. We're going to step aside, get a track limit side-by-side break out of the way. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Iowa Speedway, the Blaise Alexander family of dealerships, 166 laps about to be complete. Steve Luttrell, your race leader. Cliff Mullins runs second. 6.1 seconds in the rears. Paul Dillon running in the third position at 7.1 seconds back. Dan Michel, fourth, 8 seconds back. And DG Swiss, fifth, 11.4 seconds back. So far, the strategy for Steven Luttrell is no tires, and he's still with the race lead with that track position. And the lap time's definitely starting to equalize. Luttrell at 23.64, Paul Dillon at 23.55 the last time by. Now 58. So a little bit quicker than the race leader, but we're already starting to stretch this to the end of this fuel run once again. So this is almost like a free run here for Luttrell, even if he ultimately loses the lead. He'll end up saving an extra set of tires for later on in this race if necessary. So we are just about to the final fuel window here, so we certainly know these guys can make it on one more stop. They're going to try and pad this a little bit, though, buy themselves some insurance, but maybe not. Paul Dillon's going to come down and pit right now. He's going to try the undercut here, maybe force Luttrell in, maybe sooner than he had planned, but Luttrell's got such a lead on the 60 here, he can almost afford to stay out for a couple more anyway. And Paul Dillon with a black flag. Dillon maybe too fast entering on his final pit stop here at Iowa Speedway. What looked like a good plan to undercut the 36 now goes up in smoke, because he'll have to sit and wait this one out. Dallas Sunderman now on pit road. Steven Luttrell, maybe not aware of this. He'll come down and pit a little sideways on entry. So Luttrell in the pits. Cliff Mullins will take over the race lead. Steve's going to bolt on some right sides. Will it be 4? I'm going to imagine so. No, it's a 2-tire stop. More pit strategy out of Steve Luttrell. He'll roll down the speedway. 27 laps to go. He's got to think, well, I'm going to give it a go here. I got the lead with that strategy. Maybe I can pick up the win with some more. Nick Christ on pit lane. He comes in from 7th. So Cliff Mullins will make his final stop from the race lead. We've had another extended run of green flag laps here at Iowa Speedway. Austin Cansdale will jump to the top spot as Cliff Mullins in pit lane. Right side tire change for the 13, and he's going to go rights only. Austin Cansdale and the Bud King of Ears, number 33. So Steven Luttrell out on the speedway after his pit stop. He should cycle through to the race lead once everybody ahead of him finishes their final stop of the race. So it'll be Luttrell with the lead. Dan Michel will be second, and he's only about 4 seconds off the back bumper with 24 laps to go. 23 laps to go, that is. Michel has time to run Luttrell down as you see Swiss and Schlier on the pit lane for their final stops. And I think Luttrell's in fuel conservation mode. Let's go on board and listen. There's that lift and coast. Real late to get back on the throttle. Big lift right after start finish, so he's trying to save some gas to make it to the end. This also could just be a strategy to make sure he's got enough for a green-white checkered attempt if necessary. Again, in this series, we do get one attempt to add extra laps if we get a late caution, so the race doesn't end under the yellow. So Dan Michel back to 4 seconds here. Let's see if the 25 saving. Now, mind you, Michel came down in pit about 3 laps later than Luttrell, so he's not in as a dire circumstance as the 36. We'll go back and look at that strategy again. Luttrell went 24 laps on the last tank. Michel went 24 laps on the last tank, and the furthest we've seen somebody go was Cliff Mullins at 26 laps. You'll see those 30s there in the middle of that graphic. That included some caution laps. This, I think, was a true green flag run here for Luttrell, Michel, Mullins, Cansdale, all those guys. So it looks like 26 laps at max. That could be a little short for Luttrell. He's got a ways to go. Yeah, he's going to have to go 28 laps on this tank of fuel. So Steve's really got to save some gas, and he's shed a lot of lap time. It's 2.5 seconds now back to the 25, who, as we mentioned, has more fuel than Luttrell. Coming to 18 to go. Deficit now 1.3 seconds. Mullins now has taken over the second spot, though, and left Dan Michel in the dust. So now it's Cliff Mullins, less than a second, call it 7/10, back from the race lead with 16 laps to go. Last lap for Steve Luttrell was at 23.95. Cliff Mullins with the sale price at 23.44. And he's there, just a car length and a half off the back bumper out of turn number 2. 15 laps to go. I don't know if Steve's going to be able to hold him off here and keep gas in the tank. He may just need to let him go. Big run off of 4 for Mullins. Looking for another win here this season. Makes the move to the inside into turn number 1 with 14 to go. This for the race lead. Chris Golden back out on the speedway. Mullins can't complete the pass. Luttrell will take full advantage of the outside lane and the run down the back. Will he be able to do it again here down the main straightaway? Mullins changes up his entry, a little bit later entry. Carries a little bit more run down the back straightaway here. Takes a peek again now to the inside. They might be running up on some lap traffic, though. Side by side through 3 and 4. Luttrell with a nose out in front. Off turn number 4 yet again here. And real loose is Mullins. Off of 4. He saves it. Loses a little bit of ground, but it's still just a couple of tenths. Mullins really just needs to kind of force Luttrell to run out of gas here. I don't think he's aware of the fuel situation of the leader right now. Luttrell likely 2 laps short. Still a side-by-side fight for position. A little bit of contact. Mullins gets roughed up, gets into the left door of Luttrell, and he's behind him again. So Mullins back now to almost 3/10. A big run down the backstretch, shrinks it down to 2. Steven Luttrell will see 10 to go this time, but he misses the exit at turn 4. Really opens the door for Mullins. 13 goes back to the point. Race leader Cliff Mullins with 10 laps to go. Luttrell back to second and really falling off the pace. I think he's realized if I keep this up, I'm not going to make the finish, let alone win this thing. So Luttrell trying to hang on to some points here at Iowa Speedway, crossing his fingers maybe to get a caution, because don't forget, he likely still has a set of tires parked over pit wall. Only comes into play if he gets an opportunity to use them, and he's running out of time even for that to work. 9 cars on the lead lap presently, 8 to be specific. Actually, Nick Chris, the last car on the lead lap. Yogi Schleer, the 9th place machine. He's the first car 1 lap down. Would get the lucky dog if the caution were to come back out. We're on a pretty clean race here at Iowa Speedway tonight. A fast, short track, and Cliff Mullins showing his abilities here yet again. Cliff Mullins with 1 win on the season. 16th in the point standings, but looking to make it 2nd win of the season. Again, that's a 20% win percentage if he can make it work. We've only had a 10-race season here in the Golden Racing League. I don't think Cliff has made all the starts. I think that is really the only issue with him. Yeah, Mullins has only made 4. Counting tonight, he'll make it 5 starts. 25% win percentage coming into the night. Just makes you wonder if he was able to run the full season, where would he be in those standings? Dan Michel now takes the 2nd position from Luttrell, as Luttrell falling deeper through the field, now to the 3rd spot, 5+ seconds back from the race lead. It'll be 4 laps to go when Mullins crosses the line. Michel still saving some fuel. He should be able to make it to the end without a green-white checkered. He should be just fine. It'd be a 25-lap run to the finish. Luttrell, though, really trying to stretch this out. His lap time's really fallen off. He's checking up right at start-finish. 24.89 the last lap. He's still out of the throttle. Picks it up here on the exit at turn number 2. This rate, Austin Cansdale could catch him here. I don't know if he's going to, but Luttrell trying to salvage a decent finish here tonight. He is 3rd in the point standings behind Chris Golden and Dan Michel. They're 2nd and 1st in the points. Cliff Mullins off turn number 2. 1.4 seconds back to the 25. This needs another clean lap. Off turn number 4 now. White flag in the air. Final lap here from Iowa. Mullins through some lap traffic. Got to keep her clean here in front of the 66. Chris Bigley gets around him. Couple more cars ahead of him. Shouldn't play a factor as long as they keep it clean. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. Cliff Mullins from the 18th starting position will use some strategy and drive it to victory yet again here at Iowa Speedway. His 2nd win of the season. Dan Michel still coasting. He finishes in the 2nd spot. Steve Luttrell coasting. He'll take the 3rd position. Mullins only led 14 laps here tonight. But we don't choose the winners by the number of laps led. It's just the one at the end that makes the difference. Mullins backing her down through the grass, looking for victory lane. So that'll do it for Cliff Mullins here at Iowa Speedway, picking up the win in the Blaise Alexander 100. We're going to step out, get a break out of the way. We'll be back with hopefully our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Iowa Speedway, the Blaise Alexander family of dealerships 100 in the books. And Cliff Mullins picking up the race win here from the 18th starting position. A job well done out of the number 13. Let's see if we can get a word with the driver of that machine. See his take on tonight's race. Cliff and Steve at Track Limits booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Cliff, congratulations, man. Your 5th start of the season, and you park it in victory lane for the 2nd time. That's got to make you go, huh, if I had run the whole season, where would we be? But either way, a strong performance here tonight. Walk us through this evening. You made a late pit stop here. I think it was lap 75, the last stop of the night. We thought we saw a black flag there. Not sure what it was for, but maybe you could elaborate. Maybe something can fill us in, because I don't see a penalty charged there. So what was the issue there?
No, I didn't have a black flag or anything. I was actually extremely careful to not speed on pit road. I really was worried about we being 40 miles an hour. I messed up in qualifying and got myself back there in the back, just slowly picked my way up through it. I knew it was going to be a fuel mileage race at some point, and then they got that early caution. I was like, all right, let's take the fuel mileage out of it. Then it became about when do I take the tires. And I really thought I was on the back side of it, man. I thought that Daniel had me beat when he passed me right there in the pit. We pit on the same lap, but he didn't take tires. I took 2 right there at the end, and that was enough to be a speed difference. And I didn't know, actually, that I was going to be that short on fuel. When I passed Daniel, I looked down. I was like, oh, I'm a lap and a half short, so I've got to start saving here. But I was catching Steven so fast, and I guess he was having to save so much. Because he had pit before us, so I knew I was, catching up to him. And then I got to him, and it was just so freaking hard to pass here at Iowa. This is the first time I've run on the new scan of it, so it was definitely different as far as how to pass here. There was no top groove at all, so it was definitely bottom feeder track, and you had to get down there. And he would just hang right on my right side just enough to where I couldn't clear him. And finally, I kind of backed off a little bit, got another run at him. And I think he kind of pushed a little bit off the floor there, and I was able to clear him off of there. And then once I got past him, I just immediately went to saving fuel.
Yeah, it was definitely a free fall for Luttrell after that as well, because he was 3 laps shorter than you were at that point, so he had to save a ton of fuel. Interesting, he was still able to make it home to finish P3. But a great performance out of you here tonight. We look forward now to the last race of the season out of Darlington Raceway next week. 100 laps around the Lady in Black. Number 1, are you going to be there for it as you seemingly a part-time driver? And number 2, if you are going to be there, what are the odds you get win number 3?
Most likely I'll be there. Obviously, kind of joining this thing late and kind of been running here pretty regularly with my other Wednesday series kind of stopping. And, being the end of the season for them, it kind of let me to do this more. So if they keep it still going on Wednesdays and stuff, I'll definitely try and do a full season of this thing. But Darlington's a tough track, man. It's been so long since I've driven an ARCA car there. I don't know what I would do, but definitely a track that I like. It's definitely a tire-saving type of track, and depending on how to set up it, the setup tonight was great. So really could drive that thing hard, and it had a good balance to it. But definitely Darlington's all about saving tires there. So I seem to be doing pretty good at it so far in the few races that I've done, and maybe we can keep it going there.
All right, Cliff. Well, a job well done here tonight. Congratulations, picking up your 2nd win on the season. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, got to thank Adam Crozier for the paint schemes, AC Racing Graphics, Pinnacle Trailer Sales, Curly's Guns, Midnight Performance, you at Track Limits for putting this thing on, Chris and everybody at Golden Racing for putting this thing on for us. My wife Alicia, my kids Jaron and Emily, they're my 2 biggest fans out here, other than maybe Colton Bryant since he has me on his car. But I gotta thank him for all the sim shots that he does for this thing, man. He makes it look good. And everybody at Low Drag Esports, C2X, all my teammates that have helped me to get to where I can actually do this pretty good. And like I said over in the voice chat, it's 2 in a row now for the old guy.
All right, Cliff. Well, congrats again. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week in Darlington.
Yep, thank you, bud.
Cliff Mullins, your race winner here at Iowa Speedway. Next, we'll talk to the number 25 driver. That's Dan Michelle in the Mr. Pibb Chevrolet. He started 3rd, comes home with a 2nd place finish. We'll see what Dan has to say as we get him pulled up into the Track Limits booth. Dan, it's Steve with Track Limits. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Dan, congratulations. 2nd place finish, 3rd place start. Not a terrible night. Led some laps. This really came down to, I think, maybe a little bit of strategy. I'm not sure if it was really all pace. I know the 13 had a right side tire change at the end of this one. I think you opted for fuel only. Is that a correct evaluation?
Yeah, that's correct. I made a mistake there. I should have taken 2 right sides, but what can you do? I just managed to get back in second, save enough fuel to make it to the end, so I can't be mad.
Still an impressive run. Seems each and every week you're a contender out here. You've had opportunities and just one short here tonight, but one more opportunity to come next week. Darlington Raceway, certainly not a short track type of race. The Lady in Black, it's going to be a tough one out there. Different ends of the racetrack, different grooves, different approaches, certainly a lot of tire strategy. What changes as far as your approach, as far as that tire strategy, whether it's just trying to save them or when to take them and when to not?
What's going to definitely change my mindset and how I'm going to race that track is the point situation. I'm not quite sure how close it is for the championship, but I do want to make sure that I'm at least a front runner, so I'd like to save my tires towards the end of the race. This race I didn't take them. I should have. Won't make that same mistake next week. So.
Well, tonight you came in with what looks to be a 190-point lead. I'm not sure if there's any special bonuses involved here, but you might be good enough just to start that one and win the title. But either way, it's been a great season up into this point. So go out there and try and take a W next week.
Yes, sir.
Dan, congratulations, man. Who do you want to shout out to?
Shout out the broadcast. You're putting up a great show for everyone at home, everyone watching, all the admins, everyone making this league as good as it is. Everybody who showed up today, I know it went real green for a long time, and you can't ask for anything better.
All right, Dan. Well, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week. Dan Michelle, runner-up here at Iowa Speedway. Next, we'll talk to our third-place finisher, Stephen Luttrell. Had an opportunity for a win there late, just wasn't meant to be. Didn't quite have enough Tiger in the tank to go full throttle all the way to the end, but we'll see what Steve has to say. Stephen Luttrell at Steve with Track Limits. You got me?
I sure do.
Steve, congratulations, man. A fourth-place start, third-place finish. You were in position late in this race. I think Cliff Mullins kind of came down, tried to short pit you. He came down, I think it was lap 75. No, maybe it was the other way around. But you came down, what I thought was a little bit sooner than we had expected to see the 36 take to pit road. Lap 72 for you, which puts you in a bit of a fuel bind. Was there a reason why you came down sooner, or was that thing out of gas?
It was out of fuel. I have a habit of going fast. I like to go fast. I like to go faster than everybody else. I don't like fuel mileage racing, but that's what we got, and we did the best we could. Yeah, I came out of the pits that last run, and I saw a huge lead, and I thought, well, maybe I could save a little bit of fuel, and I looked down, and oh man, I had to save 4 laps of fuel. So I just tried to hold them up as long as I could and make it to the end.
Great battle with you and Cliff Mullins there at the end, and then once he finally got position on you, I think you kind of went into conservation mode. You went, I think it was 28 laps on that final tank of gas, which is longer than I think anybody went here tonight, but you really had to shed some pace to do it.
Oh yeah, I was killing the engine on both ends of the track, running against the apron all the way around for the last 4 or 5 laps just to make sure I could make it, and I crossed the finish line and ran out.
Still not a terrible points night, but I don't know if there's any chance anyone catches Dan Michelle next week at Darlington. What approach changes do you make at Darlington Raceway next week? Is it just a matter of going out and trying to pick up a win here? Is that kind of like your only opportunity and hope for the 25 or the 19 to have a problem?
Well, I don't know that a championship is possible here, but I can probably make up a couple spots easily if things go my way. But as far as Darlington goes, I'm with Kyle Petty. Fill it up with water. Let's fish for bass out of it.
Bass tournament. All right, I'm with you.
Yeah. Let's do that instead. But yeah, it's gonna be a hard race. I usually do pretty good there. I just don't like it. But yeah, man, oh gosh, it's been so long since I've had a win. I just want to be in victory lane again, and I just so close again.
Well, as this season winds down, you've been putting yourself in position each and every week. I know I've said it more than once. You keep doing that, the wins will come, and that day is not too far down the horizon. So, Steve, congratulations on that third-place finish here tonight. We're going to let you get out of here, but is there anyone you want to thank?
I got to thank Dad for being on the box for me, my wife for letting me go out and do this and have fun. And my whole family, everybody watching, all the fans, Chris Golden, of course, for putting on the league, and you for the broadcast. Yeah, that's it. Just everybody watching. I love to go watch this back, and it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, Steve. Well, congrats again. Thanks for chatting with us. Good luck next week.
All right, copy that. We'll see you then.
Steve Luttrell, third-place finisher here tonight, had the win slip between his fingertips, as well as a lot of gasoline that he just didn't have to go all the way to the end. Might have been a second place, might have been able to hold off Cliff Mullins, you never know. But as we said, Steve Luttrell keeps putting himself in position at the end of these races. That win is not far down the road. With that said, let's take a look here at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top three already. Cliff Mullins, your race winner. Dan Michelle was second. Stephen Luttrell comes home in the third spot. Austin Cansdale fourth. David Wormuth was fifth. DG Swiss comes home in the sixth spot. Seventh went to Nick Christ. Yogi Schlier was eighth. Dan Jones was ninth. Wayne Cannon 10th. Dallas Sunderman 11th. Colton Briner comes home in the 12th spot. Elijah Grant 13th. Chris Bingley was 14th. 15th finisher was Chris Norris. Chris Golden, tough night for the 19. Got spun off of turn number 2, spun it down to the inside wall. Nose contact and some damage. He'll take home 16th place honors. Shane Morris was 17th. Paul Dillon, that was who I thought got the black flag, and indeed that was the case. Dillon, black flag late on his final pit stop, never made it back to the racetrack. 18th place finish, 30 laps down for the 60 who was so dominant here tonight. Pat Wormuth comes home in the 19th spot. 20th went to Stephen Gill. 21st place was Jerry Berlin. 22nd, Jason Woodham. 23rd, Hunter Carlson after a connection problem with his internet provider. Gino Volanti was 24th, and last was James Van Hoosen. I don't believe James took the green flag here tonight, but he'll take the last place points here at Iowa. Again, with that said, Darlington, last race of the season next week. We're going to crown a champion. I don't know if there's going to be any contenders for it. I think Michelle's got it locked up. We'll have to get those point standings all tallied up from Iowa here tonight to see where we stand. But either way, it's going to be a fun race out at the Lady in Black next week. Right here on Track Limits Network. It'll be live. It'll be ready to roll, and it's going to be exciting. So stay tuned. Be here for it. We got more racing coming up next week as well. Of course, more four-wide motorsports, late model stock tour, more Zero X Strategy Series playoff racing, and then, of course, the final race of the season here in the Golden Racing League. Got to thank all you guys for watching here tonight. Thanks for the kind words in the stream chat. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a good night from Iowa.